And it's not just homes. It's everything, Johnson. Everything. All things. It's not just homes. It's not just home appraisals. Anything that you buy and you're sitting across a desk from somebody who has eyesight. Black people have no real understanding just how much they get ripped off. So Kamala Harris went on a little tour where she's trying to show up the black vote. She sits down with Steve Harvey. There's this event, and she's talking about all the great things that Joe Biden and the Biden-Harris administration are doing that should be of interest to black people.
Of what we are doing, including we have finally gotten rid of the prohibition on people with a criminal record being able to apply for SBA loans. We just got rid of that. So now, for those who are formally incarcerated or who have a conviction for a crime, that will no longer prohibit people from being eligible for small business loans. Help me get the word out. That's why I'm here.
Well, that's good, because you might as well be able to get a small business loan, because you can be president, too, with a criminal record. So that's a nice exchange. Ain't that about it?
Yeah.
You know, look, I've been reading this paper because I got to stay to the, I got a headache trying to stay on course, so just let me go off this paper for a minute. Before y'all start calling my radio show and DMing me, talking about why you ain't asked no hard-hitting questions, that ain't what this is. I'm throwing a lob. This is an alley-oop for a dunk, because this administration needs to get the word out of what they're actually doing and what they're actually accomplishing, so we can stop all this foolishness about what you're doing for black people. Can't nobody come out with no agenda and call it this for black people and expect to get in the White House. You got to play the game different. Y'all know what this is. So now this next question is another lob for her to dunk. Because they done a lot, man. But we see, I'm on this radio show and I'm hearing all these people talking about, I'm not voting if they not doing nothing for us. Listen to me. If you do not vote, the analytics will show, they know how many women vote, they know the age you are when you vote. If we don't vote, how we gonna ask for something next time? If you ain't got no voting power, you talking about reparations. Ain't nobody finna give you no reparations and you don't vote. Oh, why you think they finna give us some money? No how, man. I hope they do. They owe us. I'll go down there. I'm sorry. Madam, I know I ain't coming back next year. I already appreciate y'all having me. Madam Vice President, this is another part of this conversation because it affects us all. It's about housing. And another thing that you've been involved in over the years has been about housing, and it remains a priority for families all across the country. So talk more about the work that's being done to address the obstacles that's being presented in front of all of us as we try to gain housing.
So you're right, Steve. I mean, back when I was Attorney General of California, I sued the 5 biggest banks of the country during the foreclosure crisis. And you'll remember that a lot of black families were targeted with those promises of these loans, 0 payment down, and people ended up going bankrupt. So this is something I focused on for a long time. And here again, let's look at it through the context of obstacles and opportunities. So home ownership is probably one of the most...
Okay. We're going to get to that a little bit. You know, that's the second part. I got a separate video for that. So, first things first, the criminal record part. Well, let's back up even beyond the criminal record part. So Kamala Harris, her selling point to Black America about what the Biden-Harris administration's done is to talk about these SBA loans, small business loans. And that now they opened up people that have been in jail. I mean, you just handed them out? Is that what you're saying? There's no criteria for the business loan? I mean, I'm trying to understand, how was that an incentive of anything, of any kind? Oh, so they could go in debt, taking out a loan. Okay, great. First of all, what are the requirements to get the loan? How is this of any benefit to, particularly to African Americans and not to everybody else? I mean, it sounds like, since what Steve said was it's not for black people, it's for everybody. It sounds like everybody can qualify. Sounds like it's going to be a lot of people competing for these loans. This is the problem, guys. This is the problem. When you come from a disenfranchised group of people, when everybody can apply, right? Being disenfranchised means you're less likely to be approved. So we have to ask questions, doofus Steve. Like, what are going to be the requirements that are going to actually help black people get the loans? Just to tell me it's available don't mean anything. Hell, Obamacare made Medicare or made healthcare more available, but it was unaffordable. So just because it was available did not mean people could actually get it. For instance, there's a hotel. It's got 100 great rooms in it. They have jacuzzis, a dry bar, cable, internet, all access, high-speed internet, maid service, full breakfast, not that continental garbage, the full breakfast, everything included. Pool, weight room, whole thing, nice, beautiful. But it's $500 a night. You only got 150. Okay? So there being availability of these great rooms at this great hotel, you still end up at the Econo Lodge that weekend. Because you need to stay 2 days, and it's $60 a night or $65 a night plus tax, puts in 70-something. Okay. So you get what I'm saying? So the availability of it doesn't matter if you ain't going to meet the qualifications. And Kamala Harris already knows that. And Steve Harvey, you too goofy. Yeah. Oh, come on now. I know what people going to say already. Yeah. They're going to be like, come on, Steve. Yeah. You're going to mess up my job trying to defend y'all, answer these questions. Come on now. I ain't going to ask VP Harris no questions, Madam's Vice President. Then why are you there, Steve, if you ain't going to ask her no questions? I ain't expecting you to be a cross-examination here. This ain't a court of law. But you could have funnily, jokingly asked, like, hey, who going to qualify? How they going to qualify? Like, just to show your brain's working, that it's actually someone at home. See, if all you're trying to do is get people elected, but you're not trying to actually help the people that you want to elect them, you know what I'm saying? You want to get people elected, but you're not concerned about the needs of the people that are going to be required to get them elected. See, you got to show that to the people. That's why people are going to hit you up and be pissed off with you, Steve, because you're not even attempting. You and D.L. Hughley are the same guy, man. Same guy. Don't give a damn. You good, so you don't need anything to work for you. You already good. You're a multimillionaire. You and D.L., multimillionaires. So you don't need to ask questions. You just need to be able to go to a nice party and get an invite and be able to bring your honey bunny to the White House sometime or hang out or get invited to some other stuff and get opportunities for your business. That's what you on, really. So, yeah. Criminal record or no criminal record. There's a lot of Americans with criminal records. Black people, I know it's crazy to know this, but black people are not the only people that have criminal records. Just want to throw that out there. Okay? Now let's get to the part everybody else talked about, including their mama. If you don't vote for them, you ain't gonna get no reparations. Even if you do vote for them, you ain't gonna get no reparations out of them too. Okay? That's not on the board. Biden said he would veto even health care. You know he vetoed reparations. Because he ain't going to get any of the Starbucks moms or the swing voters. You know, it would be a stab, it would just alienate so many white people that are Republicans that they want to try to woo. Then this would be a non-starter for those two in particular. So yeah, that ain't got nothing to do with it. But I'm noticing a trend, guys, where Democrats are floating this thing, dangling this carrot called reparations now, and they have no intentions, in my opinion, they have no intentions of fulfilling it at all. They're just dangling the carrot because they have the analytics, right? The analytics told them, everybody's talking about reparations. They talk about reparations. They talk about reparations. Let's just start saying reparations. So now everybody say reparations. You know, everybody's saying reparations, but what's the intention behind it? What's the intention behind it? So, Steve, even if Kamala started talking about it at this point, 90% of us probably wouldn't believe her anyway. Because they already know she said nothing for black people. I ain't going to sit here and say I'm going to do stuff for black people. I'm not going to sit here and say that. I'm saying I'm going to do stuff for Americans. And one last thing before we move on to the next one. Kamala Harris says she brought this up about being attorney general and predatory lenders who focus their eyes with these subprime mortgages that were garbage. And unless you really are knowledgeable to know you're putting yourself in harm's way when you get these mortgages, they were setting people up. They were setting up these people. They were targeting people that had a hard time getting loans. Knowing that once the market corrected itself, that mortgage of $1,200 is going to go to $300, go to $3,300. They had a feeling that this can't last. These people have been in this business for 20 years, and they know, or 40 years, or they know the market corrects itself. So these ultimate lows that we're at, and with these instruments that they're selling, the paper on these houses that we're selling, the clauses that are written in is that they will adjust according to XYZ. These are not at a fixed rate. So what's going to happen is things are going to adjust. They targeted people who were the most desperate, the people that were turned down before, the people that had the lower credit scores. Those people, they targeted those people. And because of all the reasons why I explained earlier, those who are disenfranchised might find themselves in those positions. But here's the point of me bringing up all of that to say this. Come, I know you're not going to sit here and talk about you bringing lawsuits against banks. Maybe it's good that Steve don't know anything. Because maybe he would have had a little bit of conflict, a little bit of cognitive dissonance if he would have known that Kamala Harris could have locked up Steve Mnuchin back when he was the owner of Key West Bank that illegally foreclosed on thousands of homes. Many of those black families lost their homes. And instead of prosecuting him, Kamala Harris let him go. And then he goes on to become Secretary of State, and the rest is history. And then when you questioned her about it, what did she say? Hey, it wasn't my decision. I let my office handle it. I know I was Attorney General and the buck stops with me, but I was like, you guys handle it. And it also turns out his wife donated to her campaign. That's right. Steve Mnuchin's wife, president of Key West. One West, is it One West? One West. That's it. Not Key West, that's in Florida. One West Savings and Loan or bank or whatever. Illegally foreclosed on all these homes, man. Illegally foreclosed. Illegally foreclosed. It's very important to stipulate because Thomas Sowell and Larry Elder like to talk about black people getting foreclosed on like it was just black people don't know how to handle money. They were illegally foreclosed on. And Kamala didn't do a damn thing about it. Somehow that did not make her tour. But she brought it up. She brought it up. She offered the information. She's got the stones to brag about it. But I guess she's sitting in front of someone she knows nothing. And even if he did know something, he wouldn't know anything. Not at this time. He would look at her wide-eyed like, huh? Oh, hell nah. I ain't gonna ask that good woman no question like that. Oh, hell nah. Mess up my money? yeah. Oh, hell no. Not me. I'm from West Virginia. Oh, last thing. It was funny how the tape started off with them making a joke about Donald Trump and saying how fellas should be able to get loans if fellas can become president. That's a good one, Steve. Till we remember that you was real cool with Trump until the Democrats told you not to be. With your punk ass. Sometime. All right, let's go to the next clip. This one's about those homes once again.
We had disparities before that happened. And then you see the disparities grow even more. Take into account segregation, redlining, urban renewal, where in so many black cities in particular, they would build freeways straight through the neighborhood, which would cut the business community, commerce off from the neighborhoods. Over and over again, we have seen these inflection points in the history of our country that have set folks back around home ownership. So one thing that we have to do is speak truth about that. And the second piece of it then is what are we going to do to accommodate the fact that we have far too many folks who, for example, in black families, there's no history in their immediate family of home ownership. What are we doing to give them a boost? So we are proposing a policy, which we are on track to getting done, so that if you are the first generation in your family to go for home ownership, you'll get a $25,000 credit for down payment. And if you are first in your family generationally, first-time home ownership, qualify for $400 a month in credits to go toward paying your mortgage. So these are some of the issues that we are seeking to address. There's another issue. Home appraisals. Again, it's about speaking truth, right? So, and I have to give great credit to the former Secretary of HUD, Marcia Fudge, who we worked on this for a while, and so this is where it is. Home appraisals. How many people here have heard the story about a black family wants to sell their home or take out a second mortgage, needs to get the home appraised for its value? And they call in the appraiser. The appraiser comes in and appraises it for a certain number. The family knows that's too low. So then they get in touch with some friends of the family who are white and say, why don't y'all come over with your family pictures? We'll take ours down. You invite an appraiser over. The house appraises for higher. Racial bias in home appraisals is a real issue. Again, contributing to what we would see then in terms of disparities around the ability to accumulate and grow wealth. So what we have done is we are now requiring that home appraisers receive racial bias training to address, again, what are these seemingly small issues, but are very big issues when you talk about the overall ability of folks to catch up bias training to address, again, what are these seemingly small issues, but are very big issues when you talk about the overall ability of folks to have done is we are now requiring that home appraisers receive racial bias training to address, again, what are these seemingly small issues, but are very big issues when you talk about the overall ability of folks to catch up and to build the kind of wealth that we know is an entitlement, is a right of every hardworking person. So that's part of what we're doing on home ownership.
Wow, guys. She said that it's important to know the reasons or what's happened, the history. It's good to speak truth to power about redlining and the efforts that were made by the federal government to put highways into our middle of black businesses to divert traffic away from those businesses intentionally to slow the growth of black businesses. Shouldn't even go into times white mobs just burned down black people's businesses and flooded towns and all that stuff. We didn't even go into that stuff for some reason. Or the time we put money in the bank and they just took our money out the bank for us. And there was no one to complain to because they did it. She didn't even go that far, but that's fine. She said it's good to speak truth to power, but then we also have to do something to help. So the way she says her and Joe Biden are going to help is that they are proposing and they're going to try to get this done. If you are first generation, if you will be the first generation in your family to get a home, they're going to help you out with a $25,000 down payment. And when I first heard it, I was like, okay. Because remember, I'm looking for good opportunities. And I'm open to hearing the opportunities and the pitches. See, I believe that you can't be up here doing a bunch of bashing if when people offer you alternatives, you don't even listen to the alternatives. You gotta listen to the options. You were upset when Joe Biden wouldn't listen to Ice Cube, but if you did listen to him, you gotta listen to what his response is. You can't just be like, I don't care. So why were you mad when he wouldn't talk to Ice Cube? If you don't believe anything, then what's the point? So you can't be that way. You gotta listen. I feel you gotta hear people out. That being said, this is garbage. First of all, there are a lot of people who haven't owned property in the United States in their families. You know who? Immigrants. Yeah, it's going to be a whole lot of immigrants who haven't had an opportunity to buy a home in the United States because they weren't in the United States. And they ain't suffering none of these problems that you're talking about within the United States. You know, the redlining, the destructions of businesses, the lack of opportunity in America. But it looks like they're all going to be eligible because I didn't hear her make a stipulation that you had to be here a certain amount of time or anything. So basically, what we're looking at, folks, is a program to help immigrants get homes. And black people, you can try too. That's right. We have a program for immigrants to get home, and black people, you could go ahead and apply too. And because Steve Harvey, oh, hell no. Oh, you thought I was going to say something? Man, I ain't going to say nothing. Oh, hell no, I ain't going to say nothing. You know who that woman is? That's VP Madam Vice President Harris. Hell no. Hell no. Oh, hell no. I ain't going to say nothing. I'm not going to question her. Why? I might get in trouble. See, in order to spot an okie doke, you have to know what the okie doke is. And it sounds like an okie doke program. And that's you know how many friends I've lost just by saying the truth about the plans the Democrats have with that. Like just stating that obvious loophole Because to them, helping people is helping people. And they see no real difference in helping black people who are purposely disenfranchised in this country, the one that they built for free against their will. They see no difference between helping those people and helping people that who just got here 2 weeks ago. Because we're just here to help people. Get what I'm saying? And that's a problem. I've lost all types of people don't even talk to my ass no more. Because they care more, they don't see a difference either. And to them, it's downright offensive that when my father and my mother were riding on the back of the bus, for me to feel like America owes us something for the way my parents were treated, the way I was treated. That my government owes us something for all the crap my people have been through. People I know, people I am, people I love. From this government's policies to its citizens who were paying taxes and living here and died in wars. My cousin died in military training. Freaking Jeep flipped over and crushed him. The gun fell off the top and crushed his lungs, dead. 19 years old. I remember going to his funeral. My cousin Ricky. So, but they don't care because they don't see, they would be offended. I even brought up that this sounds like it ain't even for us. But Kamala gonna try to sell it that way. Because you heard what Steve said, you can't go saying nothing black because you know ain't no way they're gonna get elected if you put black on anything. You can't get that. Then she brought up home appraisals, black families sell homes. We all know the stories. I've covered this on this channel about the home appraisals, and believe me, guys, it sounds anecdotal. It sounds like a one-off. It's not. It is not a one-off, and it's not just homes. It's everything, Johnson. Everything. All things. It's buying a car, getting the interest rate on the car, the final sale price of the car. It's not just homes. It's not just home appraisals. Anything that you buy and you're sitting across a desk from somebody who has eyesight. Black people have no real understanding just how much they get ripped off. See, our parents understood it. That's why when we used to go out of town, we used to pack a bunch of, I used to always wonder, why mom make all this food? Why we can't just stop it like, some places we going? Well, first of all, we don't know if we're going to drive by sundown town, dumb. Little Timmy, your dumb ass. Just sit back. He don't know that there's a sundown town probably up here. We don't need to be stopping. And I like getting my change back. If they don't get my change, I can't even make no noise about them not giving my change. If somebody come around that corner with a gun and shove it in my face. See, a lot of times black people will stop their car, and want to fill up the gas tank, and they be like, nah, you gave me $20? Who says, are you calling me a liar? I said you gave me $10. Now get on out of here. These are real stories. This really happened, like all the time. So what I'm saying is people underestimate how bad America treated us, or either they just don't care. They can't wrap their head around how in every juncture in life, every time we had to deal with people, they were taking a slice of us. They don't get it. And Kamala gets it, but she ain't gonna stick her neck out to make sure things get done right. She ain't gonna stick her neck out to try to change things. Joe Biden ain't gonna stick his neck out to try to fix nothing. Right? And this sounds like more of it. She says the appraisers that they find, when she said appraisers, they're gonna have to go through racial bias training. Okay, there are some people who have implicit bias. They don't know why. They prefer other loudmouth commentators and not Tim Black. They don't know. They like what they like. But then there are other people who know. They're like, hey, I can't be looking at this milk dud, barbecue milk dud head sucker. I can't be looking at him. Can't be looking at this milk dud bald head. You too brown. I can't watch. What is this, Harlem? I can't watch this. Jesus, DI commentary. Come on now. But what I'm saying is, okay, Kamala, there are going to be some people that may be helped by not knowing if they're racially biased. What about the people that are racially biased and don't give a damn? Explicitly biased. They know they are racist and they don't care. Then you just say, and that's your running thing is that all these Trump supporters, every Trump supporter who's white is racist. Well, if that's the case, don't you think they know it? Hey, just half the country, right? Right? How many votes Trump got from white people? I'm just saying, but your big solution is we're going to have to make them go through racial bias training. Okay, how about this? How about the penalty? Yeah, that racial bias training is weak sauce. That's sucker crap. And you know I want to use another word than crap. But I'm trying to play with the algorithm. It's sucker crap to talk about racial bias training. Send their ass to jail. Fine their asses. Put their businesses out of business. That's how you get attention. That's how you make a change. Have a repercussion for the action that hits them so hard in the pocket that they wouldn't dare do it. Forget it being a front page story in the USA Today that shames them. Oh my God, they might get canceled. Nah, make their money be canceled. Make the business get shut down. If you give a false appraisal to a black family and it's proven, mandatory jail time. And the business you work for is fined the difference. Guess what'll happen? Guess what'll happen? Either they'll stop appraising black people, and black people have to go to appraisers that don't do that crap, because they'll be like, oh, no, we better stop, because I don't know if you're racist or not. They'll do their own strenuous training to find out if their appraisers are racially biased or not. Believe you me, if it means their business being open or being closed because of a bad appraisal. You understand what I'm saying? So the fact that, see, I'm trying to tell you, man, it's not just I got a problem with the Democrats because they're Democrats. I don't have a problem with the color blue. The problem is they never go far enough for me to take them seriously. They go an inch and then they want a bunch of praises and pats on the back for it because they know the Republicans aren't doing anything. But the fact that you want the inch shows you are aware there's a problem to be fixed. But you're too damn lazy, selfish, and complicit in our own demise to do anything fundamentally true or real to fix it. And to me, that's just as bad, if not worse, than the people that aren't even trying to touch it. You know? You know what I'm saying? You know there's a problem, and you want to pretend like you're trying to help. Now, if you were trying to help those appraisals, and you wanted to do a change or make a change in that regard, it's easy. You like mass incarceration any other time, all of a sudden now you got no stomach for it. Yeah, discrimination should be a punishable offense. It's so damn hard to prove. First of all, you got to have a black friend. You got to have a white friend who's willing to loan you the pictures and come to your house for the appraisal. So just imagine how hard it is to prove. Yeah, I can hear Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens and all those other sellouts now. Oh, but, these situations, you can't punish the rest of society with this type of thing. And how often does that happen? It doesn't happen a lot. And we had a reason, blah, 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 blah. And I can hear Robbie from the Hill doing the same thing, talking all fast. How many black people got white friends who are willing to come over their house and go through their appraisal process for them, just for them to be able to prove this? See how hard it is? See? But that's what they expect us to do. So because they really don't care about things getting better. You do the same thing, but say, oh man, Disney, 94% or some crazy number, 90-something% of management personnel at Disney are white men. And so they decided, hey, we need to hire some black people. And then you know what the white people did? They said, this is discrimination, because they don't consider the 90-something% of white men being the management discrimination against black people, because they really think we're inferior, that we couldn't get those jobs. We're not a fit. And it should not be 94%, it should be 99%. And that's the argument that a lot of the sellout conservatives would make as well. And some of them are black. So yeah, I'm not listening to Kamala Harris and Joe Biden because I want to. I listen to them because I have to. And maybe I listen to them so you don't have to. But the bottom line is, we got to hold them accountable. And it's sad that people like Steve Harvey get to be the people that talk to him. It's sad that people like Dale Hughley get to be the ones to talk to him. It's sad that people like Charlemagne get to be the people they talk to. But there's a good reason for that. Hell, I saw an interview recently where Kamala Harris was sitting with a MSNBC token Mika Brzezinski on the Morning Joe show, and she still had to have a handler with her, because we know how those tough questions Mika likes to ask. As if she's the sharpest knife in the drawer. But Kamala couldn't even handle Mika Brzezinski, a status quo Democrat shield. She still couldn't be on her own in the interview. So it's protect at all costs. And they ain't taking no chances with Kamala coming out here saying the wrong thing. But just know, this summit, this tour they're on, it ain't about us. It's not about us. It's about them. It's about their re-election efforts. And I'm cool with that. But only if there's something that's really for us in it. And you just stapling black on the top of something that's really for the masses, America's so racist, we'll never get ours. That's what you got to understand. America is still so racist. As long as there's people involved in any step of this process, unless you are deliberate, you'll never get to us. It's like the algorithm, Johnson. Until you watch something from a creator, you'll never see him, right? And if you don't know that creator exists, you'll never see him, right? Unless they start pushing them. And then you're like, hey, who's this person? You're like, okay. That's the only way, right? So the algorithm has to decide to put new people in front of you if you never watched them before, right? Get it? That's how this system is set up. It's not rocket science. You know what I'm saying? You think about it that way. You know, so black people got to get put into the algorithm. Or people just hire their friends. And those people that look like them. You know, and people they already know. You know what I'm saying? Get what I'm saying? Because it's the algorithm.